Hi, welcome back to another video. This is Mr. Chow from EnglishTuition.org. Been a while. How have you been doing? Hope you have been doing well. I wanted to post a video to the channel after some time to talk about some goal setting. We are kind of in the middle of the year, towards mid-year, and in fact, we've just finished the mock assessment for all my students, right? And the parents should be getting the feedback, right? But I want to just spend a little bit of time to just talk about goal setting. Is this too late, right, to set a goal for the year of 2023? Well, I always think it's not too late. So let's do a quick mid-year assessment. This is going to be just a very short video because it only consists of one slide. And that's all we are going to focus on for today's video, goal setting. All right, so let's get started. So we want to think about how to set our goal by having a good understanding of where I stand in the first place, right? Where does the student stand? Okay, so I think if you have gone through the WA2 weighted assessment tool, or for my students, they've gone through the mid-year mock assessment, I think they have a pretty good idea of where they stand. Okay, so the first crop of students, right, for primary level, if you are getting between AL1 to AL4, and for the secondary level, if you're scoring between A1 to B3, all right, these are the students, of course, in the what I call the doing well zone, right? You're doing very well, and what you need to do, right, is try to maintain. Now, having said that, it's not that easy, right, to score good grades, right, especially the A grade, distinction grade, consistently. Okay, so for this type group of students, do not grow complacent. All right, continue to work hard, continue to improve upon your language, right? Keep up your practices, because you never know, right? During the national exam or school end of year exam, you may be surprised and caught off guard by certain types of questions which you have failed to practice. All right, so from now until the end of the year, you still have about 5 months. All right, so make good use of the time to continue your practice, keep up your efforts, so that you can maintain the good scores, right? So I have very few students who actually belong to this category, right? And I think I do have a small number of them who get the B3 grade. All right, so for those students, they are coming from C, and eventually they reach the B, and then the next milestone to look at, the goal for this group of students would be to get an A. The A has always been very elusive. And as for the primary level, AL1 is super difficult because you have to get like close to perfect, right? Over 90, you know, to get AL1. So most of my students, in fact, to push them up to AL3, AL3 is 80 and above, okay, they are already doing quite well for English, right? And AL4, well, still considered proficient, right? And try not to fall below AL4. Okay, but that's easier said than done, right? So if you have done the weighted assessment and just gotten back your test papers, and what happens if you fall into the next zone? How do you set your goal? Right, if for the primary level, this is where you stand. You're scoring between AL5 to AL6, and when I mean AL6, I'm talking about the upper limit of AL6, right? Because interestingly, the AL grading for primary level, okay, for AL6 is very wide, right? AL6, typically there's a 20 mark range, okay, for that particular grade. Okay, so if you're scoring on the upper end, closer to the 60 marks, I think you're still safe. That's rather quite a confident pass. Okay, and AL5, AL6, and higher AL6, I think you're still doing okay, right? And for the secondary level, you're scoring between B4 to the high C6, like meaning like 54 point something percent. All right, so you're going to the exam with the confidence that you know that you are going to pass the exam. Now, typically for this group of students, they have a certain level of foundation, right? In other words, they should be able to do things like form sentences without making too many grammatical errors, right? And most of the time, when my students come to me, they belong to this category, all right? And with a bit of guidance, hopefully we can move them up to the doing well zone, right? So the target for this group of students, right, is actually to move up to, right, for primary level, to move up to AL4, right? AL4 at the minimum. For secondary level, their target is to move up to B3, okay, at the very minimum. All right. So these, this group of students are what I call, they belong to the healthy zone. All right, because they're not failing or anything, but they definitely have room for improvement and they can do better. Okay. Now let's talk about the students who are not really doing so well, right? And these are the worrisome students. For the primary level, they are scoring low AL6 and below, right? I'm talking about, a no joke, right? I'm talking about students who are scoring like maybe 30 something out of 95, right? For their paper 2, for example, right? And they're failing the paper overall, okay? And for the secondary level, either low C6 and below, and the tendency is that, chances are that they're failing, okay? So even getting 48, 47%, that's not a good grade for the secondary level. Now, typically, when I work with this group of students, they have very, very weak foundation, right? To the point that some of them cannot even form proper sentences, right? And some just ignore punctuation altogether, and they have so much difficulty, right, with the language. So we are starting at at a very low base. All right, so of course, when we want to set goals for these students, right, we need to temper our expectations a little bit, right? We don't want to set unrealistic expectation, and in the end, they can't hit those expectations, and they end up disappointing themselves and disappointing everyone, and they feel discouraged, and so on and so forth. So when I work with this group of students, I do communicate to the parents that we need to be more patient with them and to give them a bit more time. Now, the end goal, of course, if they can pass exams, that's always good, right? But sometimes we run out of time, right? And we want to help them do well in the exam for PSLE, for example. But they started off like scoring like 30 something, percent, right, for the exam, and they can't spell and getting like 0 for sentence synthesis, 0 for even exercises like grammar close, right? Grammar close usually, upon 10 marks. The better students, they can score like 10 upon 10. Okay, but so these students are really lost, right? They don't know what's happening. So for this group of students, how do we set goal? Typically, when I work with them, I tell them, don't mind the results first, because we may run out of time by the end of the year, and they still may not have achieved the results that you're after. Okay, so for this group of students, I think more importantly, the immediate goal is to help them achieve at least some form of basic proficiency, right? Basic proficiency. What do I mean? Right? Basic proficiency means at least they can do all the basic stuff like forming simple sentences, right? Not even compound sentences, right? Learning their spelling out, at least the common words, they know how to spell all those common words properly so that they can convey their own basic ideas, right? Simple things like comma, the punctuation, even like paragraphing. I've seen like even secondary level students have got no paragraphing at all, like all these basic things. All right. And in terms of language development for some students, right, especially if they have not have any additional external help before, they might struggle, and if they start to lose interest, then it's really very worrying. So even if we try to throw them a band-aid, try to ask them to cram for exam, force them to memorize a lot of words right before PSLE, hoping that they will just clear the exam, I think that's a little bit short-sighted, because we need to look beyond after PSLE, what is there. All right. Okay. And for secondary level, after Sec 1, Sec 2, there's still Sec 3, Sec 4. So I think there's no running away from at least being able to write in simple sentences, okay, that are grammatically correct. Okay, so that's the bare minimum. So if they're able to hit that, then we are able to talk about other things, right? Like, maybe improve on their writing techniques, improve on their reading skills, and so on and so forth. Okay, so set the bar pretty low, all right? But if the student come out, right, or they come to me, okay, starting at such a low base, then I think that's the right way forward. Okay, so I think that's all I have to say. Okay, I promise you it's going to be a short video. All right, so we only have 3 categories. All right, this is about the failing category. All right, so hopefully I've addressed, if you belong to this category, okay, how to set the goal for yourself. I think the goal should address not just the short-term concerns, but also the mid-term, right? In the next 1-2 years, what are you going to achieve, and the long term, right? After your national exams, right? Where do your language skills come in? They're still important, right? So you still want to, be able to have some level of mastery over the language. All right, so with that said, okay, we have come to the end of the video, right? For those who are serious about improving your English and wish to sign up for lessons, please visit englishttution.org for more details, right? The O-levels online course, if you are not aware, they are online right now, right? Again, details on the website. Right, thanks for viewing the video. If you feel that there's something useful here, do remember to leave a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.